So, a tiny bit more in there. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to put that back in this bowl, and we're going to start with our wet ingredients first. This is nice warm water, so 195. Let me double check that number. We're going to add our active, beautiful starter. You can see there we have beautiful bubbles on our starter. It is ready to go. It's risen from this point here to all the way to the top of the bend. Now I fed this starter really aggressively this morning, and because I have a lot of baking to do today, so I gave it a heavy feed. I took it down to like less than about a cup, and then fed it like 2 cups of flour. So it's a low hydration dough or starter, but that's okay. Okay, 180. A little bit more, that's okay, but look how beautiful she is. Bubbly and beautiful. And you can see from my starter on top there. So we're just gonna get our little Danish whisk, mix those together. And then we're going to tear our dough in there. So we want 240 grams of, this is prairie wheat, or prairie gold. We want 420 grams. Prairie gold flour. This is a third, but we're actually doing a fourth. Okay, and that is going to help soften that wheat. So I'm just going to melt that in this thing right here. I'm going to mix this all together, and then we're going to add our salt with our Danish whisk, and then we're going to go in with our hands. I have a tiny bit of flour left in here. I'll go ahead and put that in there. Since I added some more okay. So this is going to be 100% whole wheat. It's honey whole wheat because it has that nice bit of flour or honey in it. So now this is really wet. But I am okay with that. I like it. And we're going to let it autolyze, so it's going to absorb more of that water. So autolyze just means absorbing water. And so I'm going to put a cover over this, and we're going to let that autolyze, and then we're going to start on our second loaf. We're going to let it autolyze for about 30 minutes. We're going to put that through our mill on the finest setting. bread flour right here, our scale. Okay, put it back on grams. Okay, 160 grams of bread flour. So, and then tear.
You've been grinding?
Yep.
Okay, I thought I could hear it, but I wasn't sure if it was that or if I was hearing my heater thing coming on. Oh wow, isn't that neat?
Yeah. I am going to mix this together really quick. And it's so nice that Piggly Wiggly sells local honey from people right here in this area, which I love that I can just get it at Piggly Wiggly. I'm gonna let that incorporate. Dry ingredients, a stir to incorporate both of those flours together. Okay. Then we'll add our guys. Okay, so there's our wet ingredients going in. We'll stir that up, except for we need to put salt in both of these yet. But we're gonna wait on that because we like to put the salt in a little bit later. Now this doesn't have as much honey in it, so if it turns out too dry, I'll have to add a little more moisture. So I need to go in with my hands. My hands are clean. It's not a super wet dough like that one. But I think I probably am going to add, even at this stage, before it auto-leases, just a little bit more water. Because I like a stickier dough. Okay. Just work that together. And that was only like a tablespoon of water. Just gonna add just a tiny bit more. And keep aware that this is gonna auto-lease still. And because it's got fresh milk flour in there, it is gonna really absorb that water. And so it's even gonna be stickier than this. So using a wet hand is good at this point. So now we're just gonna let this rest for 30 minutes and then I'm gonna add the salt to both of these loaves. Adding a juice from a fermented vegetable and letting it sit out on the counter for 2 to 3 hours will help this ferment a little bit, and it will last much longer in your refrigerator, like up to 3 months.
Actually really light.
Now I'm just adding about a teaspoon and a half of salt to each bowl. And I'm sorry I didn't show you the first one, but mixing it together with my fingers and really getting it in the dough. Adding a little more water to this because it's still super firm, which is okay for bagel dough. Maybe I should have left it, but these turned out very delicious and soft. When you add more water, you only add about a tablespoon at a time to get the consistency the way you want it. Now I'm starting with stretch and folds. I'll do a total of 6 of these with each bowl. About 15 to 30 minutes apart.
Last night, at my direction, British Special Forces took every possible step to detain Roman Lenkov and to bring him to justice in the United Kingdom.
Now I am adding 1 tablespoon of sugar and 1 tablespoon of baking soda to 2 pints of boiling water for my bagels. And I will cook those on each side for 2 to 3 minutes. Being Aussie. Mm-hmm.
Well, Elroy, you must be Dad. You're talking? Okay. Come on.
Okay, these are done. These two, I'm going to do just a little bit different. I'm going to put some cheese on them and a couple jalapenos. We are there we go. Here we go. Be a little creative. These are going in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. And then our bread will go in after. Now, I'm sorry I didn't show you guys how to shape those. I always forget that part because I'm in the middle of making dinner at the same time usually, because I do the same day sourdough. I do sourdough overnight sometimes, but right now, since we're doing whole wheat, I don't like it to ferment overnight because it just gets too sour. Bagels, and they were done in 25 minutes. They are done. I tested their temperature, 199, so that's good enough. And yummy, yummy.